First speech, James Boylan to the stage.
Good afternoon, everyone, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I have to pose you guys a question. Have you guys ever heard of the phrase, curiosity killed the cat?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm not the only one here that has heard that, because I have heard people say they haven't heard that before. But there's another part of that phrase, and it's satisfaction brought it back. So satisfaction brought the cat back after its curiosity. And that kind of resembles me. And that's kind of where the title of my speech came about, was the improvement of curiosity. I'm someone who's driven by curiosity and the need to always improve. And that's kind of why I stand before you here today. It's kind of how I came to EY, and kind of how I became a Toastmaster. I'll first start off with a little background about myself. I'm from Long Island. I live in a town of Rockville Center. It's in Nassau County. I went to college at Marist up in Poughkeepsie, and then I am actually out of the Stanford office and not the New York City office. But because I'm from Long Island, I get to work on New York City jobs and be able to be in the city. So where does it all begin? It all begins with my parents. My parents have introduced me to various things throughout my life, and that's where my curiosity started. My parents introduced me to snow sports, they introduced me to the water, and they introduced me to the outdoors. And that sparked my curiosity into how you heard Irvish say before that I love to snowboard, wakeboard, and play golf. Snowboarding came about because as a little kid I used to watch the X Games all the time. And my curiosity grew of whether or not I could do that, see the same backflips and front flips and spins that I saw on the television. The wakeboarding came about because I was curious about what the next step was for me on the water. You can only do so much boating without trying to do something crazy next. And that's where the wakeboarding came from. The golf came from, I used to always watch sports. And I used to watch golf a lot. That was the one sport that I had no problem sitting down for 10 hours at a time watching it, because we all know golf can take a while. And that came about too was, I used to watch Phil Mickelson, who was my favorite golfer. And that kind of also probably brought me in the direction of accounting, because I saw that KPMG hat, but luckily enough I didn't end up there. So that's where the curiosity in me came about, was I wanted to try these things due to those reasons. But me, additionally, I want to improve on those. So I didn't just stop there when I started. I tried to improve upon my snowboarding, whether I was with my friends pushing myself further. I wanted to improve on my wakeboarding of just getting up for the first time. And I wanted to improve on my golf game if I had to be by myself to do that. But this curiosity that you see with getting into the snowboarding, the wakeboarding, and the golf is the same curiosity that brought me to become a fireman. I wanted to do something next. I wanted to bring myself to the next level. And it all started with one summer afternoon, I said to my dad, "Hey, weren't you an EMT back in the day?" And he said to me he was, and that he had stopped doing it because his college days were over. I said, "Would you be interested in sparking that back up again?" So we went through the whole process, and I became a volunteer EMT and fireman. Now with that, you ask, how does this kind of bring myself to being here today? It is through being in the fire department that I had a connection with an EY partner here. It happened to be one day in April in about 2011 in which I went to a school that was somewhat Volt-Pine, if you want to go around along the lines of characteristics of a fox at Marist College, because we were the Red Foxes, for which the partner gave a presentation. And my mom at that point in time was pushing me to get an internship. So me being very Volt-Pine, I came up with a clever way of getting to go speak to the partner. And I brought up to him, "I heard in your speech you were a volunteer fireman in EMT." And he said yes, and I said, "Well, I am one too." We got to speaking, and as the conversation went on, he eventually asked me for my resume, and he didn't take anybody else's resume. The following day, I received an email that said, "Welcome to Ernst & Young's Emerging Leaders Program." And that's how I'm here at Ernst & Young.
Wow.
Now the next step was, how did I get to Toastmasters? It's that curiosity again, because I was curious to get to the fire department that brought me to EY. Now I was curious as to what Toastmaster was. I had seen plenty of my friends go to Toastmasters at school. This again, when I heard about it here at EY, sparked my curiosity, and I wanted to join. And that's why I'm standing in front of you today. And that's a little bit about myself as to how I got here. Now, as I'll continue with Toastmasters, is that desire to try and improve. And that's who I am. Someone who is here because of curiosity with the drive to improve myself in a way that will potentially, hopefully, make me a better person in the future. Thank you very much.